Niggas don't stand a chance without being in the Lord's hands. Life full of lessons, look like I learned them all. Life full of blessings, but the crackers got it all. How long until they fall? How long until you call on the Lord with a sword? I'm just fighting with the few against many. Working for the Lord, I just hope I get a penny. Know the devil sent you, just look at who against you. And when the Lord with you, who can be against you? Know that I ain't Christian, just look at who I'm dissing. I'ma need for you to listen, know it's hard for you to listen when it's part of your tradition. And your mama in the room, bumping music full of Christian, and your daddy not around, cause your mama's superstitious. I know she's super wicked, plus she's smoking like the kitchen, and it's all because of Nixon. Praying to the Lord like, please can you fix it? Childhood missing, cousin in the kitchen, flour on the plate. Thinking to myself, why is flour on the plate? Next thing I know, that flour turned to clay. I was only 8, I was only 8. There was nothing I could say, but daddy, can you stay? Cause here it ain't safe. Look at all these flag eyes, looking like a G5 of me. I'm looking like I came out of free stove of me. I'm looking like I came out of free stove of me. It's nothing left to do but to do what they do. I wanna sell crack just to be like you. Serving to the fiends on the new avenue. Put it in the pot, motherfucker, let it stew. Look at me now, I didn't turn into you. Following the way, but I knew it wasn't cool. Shoulda did more than the average nigga do. I am not the same, but I was raised like you. Mama on crack, yeah, my daddy was too. Look at what the government did to you. That's why I don't vote. They put us on dope. Now I'm in the street, I was selling fake dope. Christian church too, they just selling fake hope. Just remember this, what you reap is what you sow.
Let's clap that up. Shalom. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians our true identity according to the Bible, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, or the Lord's chosen people. And according to these scriptures, it's the only people on the face of this earth that the Lord gives a damn about. And of course, that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Today is the Monday night Indianapolis history class. And today we'll be going over the curses in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15, and all the way down. You understand? We'll be going over these curses today because our people have to realize that no matter what it is that we do in this earth, you understand, unless we are serving our King Christ and keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're not going to be able to break these generational curses. It is that our people, talk about all the time and say that, they're working towards breaking generational curses so that the next generation doesn't have to suffer as we have. When in reality, the only way to break those curses is if our people come into the ISUPK. If our people change our lives and start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments just as our forefathers did. Otherwise, we're going to remain under the same curses as our grandparents. You understand? As our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents, leading all the way back to slavery days. You understand? And even before then. So that's why these scriptures are so important, because it shows us how it is that we can break these curses and how it is we can change our condition as a people, as a nation. So we're going to be in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. I'll give you a hot second to get there. It's going to be a short class. So lucky we started a little late. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. And we're living in that time right now. And we're living in that time to where our people would much rather follow some disgusting heathen and his ways than to listen to what it is that the Lord told us to do as a nation. You understand? Which is to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. So nowadays, we'd much rather, follow Asians who are out here eating bats, spreading COVID-19, than looking into these scriptures and finding out our dietary laws as a people. You understand? We'd much rather be following in all the disgusting ways of our oppressor, you understand, Esau, in the Bible, than to come back to our customs, which are far superior than any nations out here on the face of this earth. And so we just got to start, really finding out the truth about these scriptures and looking at ourselves in a better light. You're saying, because we try to follow the culture of every other nation, trying to claim that it's our own rather than actually coming to our true culture. That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. I'm saying, and that's exactly why it is that our people will always be at the bottom in this earth if we're not following the Lord. I'm saying, if we're not changing our lives as Christ commanded us to, and really living up to the expectations of our Father, the Most High God of Israel, you understand, Yahweh, or the nigga God. You understand? If we're not living up to them expectations, then curses will come upon us as a people. That's why we can go to any land throughout this earth and we're going to always be the oppressed people. We're always going to be singled out and ridiculed for who it is that we are as a nation. You say, I don't give a damn where it is that you go. You understand? Our people, we like to, what's that called? Choose the better of two evils when it comes to having some heathen over us, when in reality it's still evil. You understand? Regardless of if we view someone being less less evil than another party, they're still going to do evil to us as a people. You understand? It makes absolutely no sense to go out and try to join to some disgusting heathen, knowing that they're going to oppress you and your people, knowing that they're going to destroy your family, and that they're going to do what it is that they can to keep us from keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? From getting in the good graces of our Father, the Most High God. Saying, and this scripture is so heavy because it shows us that no matter the times it is that we're in and how progressive, society is supposed to be with their way of thinking, like we're always going to be, like our condition, it's always going to remain the same. That's one thing that we love to talk about is that, oh, well, the times are changing, the way people think, it's changing. Everyone's starting to come together more and more and more and loving one another, when in reality, that's simply just a Christian, lie. It is that so many of our people have accepted wholeheartedly. So we're going to go down to verse 16. Verse 16. Curse shalt thou be in the city. I'm saying our people, of course, we like to talk about the hardships it is that our forefathers faced in the cities of America, but the sad truth of the matter is, when we talk about these experiences, it's not to show who it is that the devil, the Bible speaks of, is. You understand? It's not to show the younger generations of how it is we shouldn't be joining to these people because of the heinous crimes it is they've committed against our forefathers. You understand? With the lynchings in the cities, you understand, the Jim Crow, the Jim Crow laws, you understand, the forced poverty it is that our people are put in every single day. And of course, just the daily oppression it is that our forefathers faced, and that we even face till this day. You understand? Like, we don't bring that out as a teaching point to the youth to separate from America and her people. We use that more of as a reason why it is we should join to America. You understand? We try to say because our forefathers went through such hell that it's, they went through that so that we could be joined to America. You understand? Just like the civil rights. So our people always say, "Oh, well, shoot, I went out and voted because of our forefathers that had dogs sicked on them who died in order for us to have moments like this." When in reality, you understand, that's not why it is that our forefathers, died, and that's not something it is we should teach the youth, as far as, oh, well, this heinous thing happened to us so that we could love these people. You understand? We got to teach these things so our people know to separate from America and to separate from her people. Because no matter how much it is that we fight as a nation to join to America, you understand, we die in her wars. You understand? We build up her infrastructure. No matter where it is that she needs it built up, our people are always there to do the work. You understand? We break our backs for this disgusting empire, but at the end of the day, they are always going to hate us as a nation. Saying we can think that forgiveness and being all inclusive on the Christian church, because they have failed our people for so long, teaching us a religion for slaves. You understand? Forcing us to truly cling onto our oppressor, no matter what it is that he does to us as a people. You understand? That's why our people need the truth. Why we need the truth of these scriptures, so that we can break out of that slave mentality and not have to worry about the curses it is that we face. You understand? By defying the Lord. So, like verse 16 from the top, cursed shalt thou be in the city. So we went over the lynchings and the Jim Crow laws. You understand? But it's like nothing has changed from then till now. You understand? We like I said earlier, like, our people like to talk about how times have changed. Everything's more progressive and inclusive, when in reality, we're really the only people in the cities of America, truly suffering like that. You understand? The only ones who are truly living in poverty throughout any country in the United States, throughout any city, any town it is that you go to, it's always going to be Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians at the bottom. Any city it is that you go to, you're always going to see a brother or a sister on the news who has been murdered either by a police officer or by some disgusting heathen who took it upon himself to be, a vigilante, you understand, or to just take justice in their own hands, knowing damn well that what it is that they're about to do to some poor brother or sister, it's not justified. You understand? It's purely out of the hatred it is that they have for us as a nation, and we can see that hatred every single day. You can just go on the internet. You understand? You can see all the police killings. It is that there is of brothers and sisters. You understand? You can see the lynchings of brothers and sisters, like Ahmed Arbery. You understand? You can find all these different things online to further show you just how much it is that these people really hate us as a nation. And we can go into our communities, go into the corner stores, you understand, go into really whatever store it is we have around our communities, and we'll see a heathen that is sucking, you understand, the life out of where it is that we live. You understand, that is taking all the resources out of our communities and putting it inside of their own, knowing what it is that they're doing to us is just further crippling us as a people. And cursed shall thou be in the field. I'm saying you can just forget about it. You understand? Our people, we were taught, that damn near our origins. You understand? We were created from the slave fields. You understand that the so-called natives, that they originated as being just uncivilized savages in the woods that needed to be, utterly eradicated for the modern world. You understand that Hispanics were nothing but, rapists living in the desert, and through that, that lie it is that our oppressor has pushed, that's led to countless brothers and sisters being murdered by this beast. You understand? It's led to such horrible suffering that even goes on till this day. You understand? The ISUPK hasn't forgot that, Trump pushed that, our Hispanic brothers were nothing but rapists who were trying to bring drugs into the country. Therefore, you understand, countless brothers and sisters, thousands upon thousands of them, got locked up in them ICE facilities. You understand? I had to make that long trek across the country in order to get to the U.S.-Mexico border, all to get locked up by some beast who, really stole what land they're trying to get into away from them. You understand? Because that's really Mexican land. You understand? Texas and along the West Coast. Drop that in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 23. I'll give you a second to get there. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, Verse 23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. And of course, an important thing to remember as we're going through all these scriptures is that this will be something that will follow us until we choose to really come out of the ways of America and all these different heathens. You understand? Like, these curses will follow us as long as we keep breaking the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. So when it says, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. It's like, there's no wonder why it is that there's so many Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian men that are coming in and out of the prison system. You understand why it is that so many of us are locked up in the jails just on, the pettiest of charges every single day. You understand? Like we could be in the right, and not even just in the right. We could not even be involved in it. Just like not too long ago, I think it was like a month and a half ago, San Commander General Yohana covered this news story on Black Watch. And saying it was a brother who was arrested because he fit the description of a suspect the police were looking for, but the suspect they were looking for was an old white man. You understand? Someone who I think was like 30 years older, 30 or 20 years older than the brother. So it's like, us just being there, you understand, just walking the streets and breathing like that warrants, police to arrest us. You understand? To throw us in the prisons on false charges, like they've done so many brothers in the past, just utterly destroying our lives. You understand? Destroying, those brothers who have been falsely accused, destroying their mental health, causing, so many brothers and sisters to commit suicide, to turn to drugs in order to cope with what it is that they've had to go through inside of prison systems. Like it's like our people, we're really living in a horror movie with what it is that we go through in America. You understand? Whether it is just us, trying to live our everyday lives, being, law-abiding citizens in this disgusting country, or if we're living in, that prison system, just trying to carry out our punishment. Like, our oppressor is never going to make it easy on us. So he's going to make sure that he makes our lives an absolute living hell, as he has been for the past 400 years. And he's shown us that he's going to do so just by the different laws or procedures it is that he's put in place for, his police forces or his prison systems. You understand? There were countless brothers who were not only falsely locked up, but who also suffered, like sexual and abusive harassment from police through the stop and frisk laws. You understand? Utterly just, emasculating brothers and destroying their whatever mental fortitude it is that they had. You understand? As a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man. Saying you got your no-knock warrants, which I believe that's what led to Breonna Taylor's death, was a no-knock warrant. There was another brother recently, Salaki, I can't recall his name, but he was sleeping on his cousin's couch. There was a no-knock warrant, and the police ended up shooting him as well. You know what I'm saying? So our oppressor always makes sure that he does these different kind of tactics in order to really jam us up as a people. knowing that we didn't even do anything, the police are justified in their actions in America's eyes. You understand? But there is going to be a time to where America is going to have to pay for what it is that she has done to the Lord's chosen people. America's police forces are going to have to pay for all of the crimes it is they have committed against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. There is no forgiveness. You understand? There is no, whatever our people would like to suggest in order to, forgive that devil or that heathen for their crime it is that they've committed. You understand? There's going to be real justice for our people, real justice for the brothers and sisters who are locked up in the prisons. You understand? Who have been falsely accused of crimes it is that they didn't commit, serving life sentences. You understand? For the brothers and sisters who have died in prison for crimes they didn't commit, and with America's society knowing it is that those brothers and sisters didn't commit those crimes and still letting them rot away in prison. Like, there's going to be a justice for those atrocities that have been committed. And that justice is going to come through the nuclear hellfire that is going to rain upon this earth. You understand? Through World War III. And just keep paying attention to the news. Pay attention to Commanding General Yohana's Black Watch. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be brought out, and our people are going to realize that World War III is coming, and there is nothing it is that we can do to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is going to come together like our Christian pastors have, pushed onto us. You understand? Not everybody is going to forgive and forget as our people have. Like, there's going to be war, and the only way to avoid getting caught up in all that is to come into the ISUPK. Other than that, hey, Lord be with you. If you're a brother or sister. Skip down to verse 25. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 25. Give you a second. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 25. It's like, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. And saying that's something that is that our people face every single day. And sadly, it's a lot of our people out here that have, either seen a brother or sister who has been, murdered by some heathen, saying whether it's, a civilian seeking justice or a police officer. You understand that there is an absurd amount of brothers and sisters who have witnessed loved ones being gunned down in front of them. You understand, loved ones who have been choked to death in front of them. beaten to death in front of them, and strangers who have been murdered in front of them. Like it's something that isn't normal for any other nation to see another group of people just come into their communities and to murder their loved ones without there being any kind of you know real action from the community to seek justice for that individual. You understand? Like our people, we get murdered every single day, and don't like we can only just sit there and take it. It's saying because America's government is not here to help our people or to look out for us. We should already know that the police force is not here to look out or to protect our people. You understand? They're here to protect our oppressor. You understand? In his kingdom, the heathens are not going to protect our people. And we've been crying out for the Ukrainians ever since Russia started bombing and invading them. But yet the Ukrainians, like they don't give a damn about how many black men and women have been gunned down by police officers in America. You understand? Like they don't care about what Hispanics have been shot by police officers in America, what natives have come up missing, never to be found unless it's a pile of bones. Like they don't care about any of that. But yeah, our people, we always make it a point to care for another nation. Like we got to worry about our own. We already know, how it is we're being, you know, murdered out here, how we're being systematically oppressed, how it is that, the curses it is that our forefathers faced, how it's going to go to our children because we don't have any real guidance in America or just in our communities in general. Like, we have to focus on our own. And the only way it is that we can prevent from other brothers and sisters from being gunned down, and the only way it is we can prevent from our children having to see their best friends get shot in front of them and their fathers, their mothers, their siblings. The only way we can prevent these things from continuing to happen is if our people come into the ISUPK. If we start living our lives like these scriptures say to, and to really make a change from who it is that we were in the world into becoming a new person, being someone that is reborn through Christ. That's the only way it is that we will stop seeing these just horrendous acts. These just utter sad instances from happening to our people. I mean, we should be tired of what it is that's happening to us by now. I mean, we should have been tired. Every single Black, Hispanic, and Native should have come into the ISUPK in 1969. But thankfully, the Lord gave our people some more time to get into this truth. And it's starting to really boom because our people are starting to realize that if we don't really make a change and separate ourselves and join to our own, we're going to end up just like our best friend that was gunned down. We're going to end up just like our brother who was shot in his backyard, minding his own damn business. We're going to end up just like our fathers who were murdered by police and what was those called? Not Good Samaritans. Is that Good Samaritan? I think it's Good Samaritan. Those Good Samaritans who are looking out for the community, who go out and take justice into their own hands. Like we should want to stop, things like that from happening to other, not only our children and our children's children, But we should want that to stop happening to the brothers and sisters in the ghettos suffering alongside of us. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And that's exactly what happens anytime it is that our oppressor shows up and decides to murder some poor brother or sister who was at the wrong place at the wrong time. You understand? Our people, we end up fleeing in every single direction, just praying that the police do not shoot one of us in the backs, because we know that that's what they're accustomed to. What it is they have done to so many brothers and sisters, even being caught on tape and having nothing happen to them. That's the nightmares it is that we face as a people. That's the nightmares that our children get to look forward to living in this land. They get to look forward being shot in the back by police officers, or shot by devils just in the world who are looking to shed some blood of the Lord's chosen people. So that's the kind of fear it is that we get to look forward to live. It's like that's the kind of fear we get to look forward to in the future, that our children get to look forward to. And so knowing that alone, I mean, we should already know we only have one option, which is to come into this school. Is to get ourselves right and to start living our lives how the Lord, it's like, commanded us to, so that our children don't have to worry about having that nightmare. You understand? So that we don't have to worry about any of these kind of things brothers and sisters face in the world. And shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And that's exactly what happens when you flee for your life as a people. So when our forefathers were fleeing from the Romans, the Greeks, America, Canada, all these different oppressive empires that have risen up to destroy us and to enslave us, we always have to flee into another land in order to try to escape persecution. And it's the same thing that we've done, in modern times. Our people, we've had a few, I guess you call it exoduses or mass, I'd say more mass migrations into other continents or other countries in order to try to escape the oppression it is that we have lived under for so long. I mean, there have been countless brothers and sisters who have gone to Africa, who have gone into what is now called Israel, trying to, trying to get some kind of relief from being, oppressed every day. But in reality, through trying to find that relief, trying to just be able to get a single day without being, attacked, whether physically or spiritually, it just leads into us being oppressed by another nation. That's why we have to stop with all this nonsense of the lesser of two evils, or just trying to make one nation seem better than another because they haven't oppressed our people like that. You understand? Like I saw on social media, was it like late, I say around like Thursday last week, Friday last week, of brothers and sisters trying to really make it something that'd be like acceptable if if Russia were to rule over us, because they didn't oppress, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives like that. Like, we got to get out of that mentality of, oh, well, if they haven't really, oppressed our people on record, then obviously they got to be good for our people. You know what I'm saying? They won't be as cutthroat or as ruthless as America has been to us. When in reality, all these nations, they will be just as ruthless to us as a people. We just got to give them the chance to. You understand? We give them the chance, they'll be, just as bad, if not worse, than America. And that's such a slave mentality. And so that's such a slave way of thinking, of saying, oh, well, you know, these people, they've been, they've been better to us than our current slave master or our previous slave master. So they must be fit to rule over us. Like, we should want to be free as a people. Like, we should want to be separate and to be able to govern ourselves as a nation. We're the only nation on this earth, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the 12 tribes of Israel, who aren't, trying to really govern ourselves. Like, we look to these heathens, for guidance and whatever so-called wisdom it is that they have as a people, when the only wisdom it is that we need as a nation is in these scriptures right here. Skip down to verse 28. So Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. I'll give you a second. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness. Select you. So I can read that from the top. The Lord shall smite thee with madness. You understand? And that's exactly, like what it is constantly going on within our nation. Like, there's a lot of foolishness that's going on with our people. With the different lifestyles it is that we're trying to live as a nation. There's just an outbreak of whoredom that's going on. There are countless brothers and sisters who are drug addicts out here who, want to make it seem like they aren't, all because our oppressor has promoted weed or bud on such a high level as being just a regular herb that has healing properties and whatnot, knowing damn well it has healing properties in case you're sick. So if you're not sick, then you're just abusing it. It's no different from those who get oxy or whatever other pain pills there is out there. And once you're healed from whatever injury it is you needed those pain pills for, and you just keep taking them because they make you feel good, you're no different. If you're smoking weed, it's the same thing. That's why it's called medicinal. It's medicine in case you're sick. You understand? Not only is there whoredom, drug addiction, there's just this foolish thing called Christianity that it is that so many of our people wholeheartedly follow and really damn near die for out here, knowing damn well that Christianity is just the religion of the slave master. It's here to keep our people submissive under America and her people. Like that's the kind of foolishness it is that our people follow. And it all goes hand in hand with that Christianity. You understand? It goes hand in hand with that Christian pastor who has lied to our people and who has promoted this whoredom and lifestyle of drug addiction and abuse and hatred for not only our people but ourselves. Like they've promoted this amongst our people. You understand? Knowing that the God it is that they push upon our people and promote, he's just going to lead to our downfall, lead to our destruction. You understand? Because you can't follow another nation's God and not expect for that people to look down on their own, to look down on themselves, and to develop a hatred. And at the same time, you develop a love for the other nation whose God it is that you follow. It's like the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness. And once again, that's exactly another big thing that's plaguing our communities is the lack of knowledge as a people. Because we don't, we lack universal practical knowledge. Like we lack what it is that we need as a nation in order to really survive in America. And so these other nations, they have their what they consider practical knowledge as Chinese, as Arabs, as Jewish, as Africans, like all these different heathen nations. They have what knowledge it is that they need in order to really thrive as a people and build up their communities and to ensure that their future generations aren't destroyed. But when it comes to our people, it seems like we're damn near void of it, even though we are, the greatest people on this earth. Like there's nobody out here that is smarter than us as a nation. I don't understand. It's like I don't care how Asian it is that they are. Like they never be as smart as our people. You understand? Nobody is harder working than our people. Like we just lack the knowledge it is that we need as a nation. And once again, we can thank the Christian leaders for that, because, I mean, what have they been teaching our people since, the civil rights, and even before then? But we'll just go from the civil rights. Like, what have they really taught our people? What knowledge is it that they've given our people from these scriptures, given our people to put towards an identity as a nation? Like, the Christian church has failed our people time and time again, and they wonder why it is that so many Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives are leaving the Christian church. It's because we've realized that they have given us nothing at all through the whole time of them being considered, our leaders, through the whole time of us turning to them, in search of a purpose as an individual or as a nation. And that's once again, that's why the ISUPK is so needed within our communities, because we really give our people, practical knowledge, universal practical knowledge. Unlike the Christian church, unlike the mosque, unlike, spiritual leaders who follow African customs, unlike sports figures out here that, just promote shooting a ball or catching, unlike rappers who, promote drug use, whoredom, selfishness, just all those it is we turn to as leaders. They have really failed our people, and it shows us that that who we think should be a leader, which is really just someone with fame and money, that's not who should really be over our nation. You understand? There is nobody with greater fame than Commanding General Yohana. You understand? Like, there is nobody with greater power than Commanding General Yohana. I mean, it's as simple as that. There is nobody with greater integrity than Commanding General Yohana. I mean, this brother, this just amazing man has held on to his sword since, he came into this school, through non-believers dropping their swords and going into some twisted, Christian lifestyle. Like, there's only one man on this earth that is fit to really lead our people out of this condition it is that we're in, and to bring us to Christ, which is Commanding General Yohana. And it's as simple as that. I'm going to read verse 28 from the top. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Understand? Our people, like, we can't believe, we can't only not believe the oppression it is that we go through every single day as a people, but we can't believe, the condition of our people, knowing full well that our oppressor has taken all the steps in order to destroy our people. Like, and the sad thing is that so many of our people try to rationalize, why it is that America has gone out of her way countless times in order to oppress our people. Like, it shouldn't be, a surprise. It shouldn't be something that is rationalized. Like, we should just have the knowledge that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And it's as simple as that. But instead, we like to say, oh, well, there's just one or two bad apples in the batch, or there's just, one or two poisonous snakes, out of the whole lot of them. When in reality, we just shouldn't trust any heathen. I mean, it's as simple as that. I know that'll be something that is very hard to break as not only an individual but as a people, because Christianity has its hooks just so deep in us as a nation that we can't even fathom the idea of an entire nation of people hating us. We just think that it's just one or two people who was raised the wrong way, when in reality it's just something that is in their spirit. It's just who it is that they are as a nation. No matter what heathen nation you look at, like it's in their nature to hate us, to seek to destroy us, so that they can bring their people above us, so that their people can be at the top and prosper and live their best lives, not caring who it is that's at the bottom. I mean, it's as simple as that. And that's the mentality it is that we have to have as a nation, is putting our own first and not caring about what it is that happens to another people. You understand? Instead of us being surprised at the oppression it is that we go through, we should look at that and be like, oh well, that's expected from the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? That's expected from the wild man himself. You understand? So-called Arabs. That's expected from someone who is just so disgusting as Ham. Like we need to really look at these nations for who they really are. Slide 1 second. We'll go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. So this will be our last scripture. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters. Of course, that's something that's very common with Israel. You understand? Brothers and sisters are always pumping out sons and daughters. And so that's one thing our oppressors, well, these heathens hate, which is the fact of how well it is that we produce as a people. I mean, that's just, that's just how the Lord created us. You understand? And just made it so that we're just a real family oriented nation, unlike these heathens out here, who just really view their own as really an animal. You understand? A tool that can be used for them to further themselves within their own society. You understand? But in our culture, we view our children as our brother. You understand? As our sister, someone we really care for and look out for. But thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. And of course that, that's a story that so many of our people have, and so many of us know brothers and sisters who have had their children taken from them, whether it was justified or not. Most times it's really not justified. And if for some reason our people rationalize, oh well, there was, that person wasn't in the best condition to take care of their child, or they weren't able to support them, this and that. We got to really sit back and analyze and look at, well, why is it that they weren't in that position to take care of that child? Why is it that sister is strung out on drugs, and not able to look after her baby because she's out here in the streets doing what she can in order to get her fixed? Why is it that this brother is an alcoholic out here, or a drunkard who is just looking to get drunk every day in order to escape his life? Like, we got to really look at the reasons as to why it is that brothers and sisters can't support their children. Why it is that they live such a destructive lifestyle? Because at the end of the day, it's all really due to the conditions it is that our oppressor forces us into. You understand? Our oppressor does what he can to force us into having some kind of coping mechanism with the oppression it is that we live under, with the hell it is that we go through every single day. And because we decide to try to cope with this hell, because we turn to drugs or turn to alcohol, because we turn to whores, because of this, so many brothers and sisters have lost their children. You understand? And sadly, so many more brothers and sisters will. Even those of us out there that think, oh, well, that'll never be me. I'm going to be the most ideal Black, Hispanic, or Native parent there is out here, and I'm going to break these curses it is that I had to face as a child. I mean, that's sadly, that's just not something that will most likely happen. If you're not an ISUPK, it's so rare to really break the curses it is that we live under. Really you don't even break it. It's just you put it on the back burner for a period of time until it can catch up to you. And it's really as simple as that. You understand? Like, that's why this school is so important, because we keep brothers and sisters from having their children taken from them. You understand? Like, we get the children in them ICE facilities, we get them out of there and return to their parents. You understand? We make sure that the so-called Native Indian children aren't taken from their parents from the reservations, and that they're able to live with their loved ones. Like, like Commanding General Yohana, General Hyman, all the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Like we always say, this school is the last stronghold, the last sanctuary for our people, and we mean it. All you have to do is go look at the works of this organization, and you'll see the hardships it is that we face in order to raise up this nation. You understand? The challenge it is that we have overcome in order to really get this truth out to our people. And it's something that we're going to do until Christ returns. Our people, we just got to get on board. You understand? We got to get out of the mentality it is that has been forced upon us for over 400 years as a nation. Saying once we do so, I mean, we'll get to really see just how good of a life it is that we could live as an individual, as a household, or as a family, as a community, and as a nation as a whole. Saying all you gotta do is get in these classes. Saying if you're a brother, you put on that all black and really learn to change your life and live it how our King said to. You understand how the Lord expects us to. With that said, we're going to get into the security announcements. This is the ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK, started out on 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry, tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10 means tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. It's a free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory. It's whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, which is Passover, which is April 14th, April 15th, out in Florida, specifically Cocoa Beach, Florida. And so if you have any questions about it, you can contact your camp leader in your zone, or you can go to our website at www.isubk.com and get further information there as well. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or a war scarf. And with that said, I'm Madyum, which means to stand. Wapanya Hakidam, which means to turn and face the east. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawu, Shabashamayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Tawa'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Asha, Ba'ar Rataza, Kawar, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kawabawathanawa, Kasalakanawa, Kawabawathayanawa, Wala'ah, Tawayayanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Watapara, La'awalamium, Haman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power,
and the glory forever. So be it. The prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wam Yaka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Matazabia, Alawak Yahana, Ha Alawakyum, Hazaranyum, Ha Quatazayanyum, Ha Kayayayum, Wa Aquathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the water Aman. The prayer for the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you. So be it. Sword, which means to turn. Sisters Yeshavia, which means be seated. We're going to give a salute to the brothers, men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Barakatam, Yadim Matah. Sisters Amadim, Sar, turn and face the sisters. Salute to the sisters, men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Al Thumb Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Hey, Matah, class dismissed.